spend 10% of your time doing stuff that you love and spend 90% of your time doing stuff that you have to do. We don't have limited demand, we have limited supply. Having a degree shows me that you can learn. If you have something good to say about someone, tell everyone. If you have something negative to say about someone, tell the person privately.
Welcome to Business Minds. Today we're delighted to welcome Anne-Marie Hubert, partner at EY. Anne-Marie, thank you very much for being with us today.
It's my pleasure to be here.
I would like to ask you first, can you tell us a bit about your role or the main responsibilities you had at EY in the last years of your career?
So I'm a partner at EY here in Montreal. And currently what I do, I'm really spending most of my time contributing to the deployment of the market infrastructure required for sustainable growth. And that would be what we need from sustainable finance, the data, the disclosure, and the taxonomy of financial products required to enable capital allocation towards sustainable growth.
Excellent. And so the first question I would like to ask you, when we have such a professional journey like yours, where did it start? So my first question is very simple. Where did you grow up, and what kind of job were you dreaming of doing when you were a kid?
Interesting question. I grew up in Maniwaki. So Maniwaki is north of Ottawa and on the Quebec side. It's a small town. It was a lumber town, 10,000 people. Then it shrunk to 4,000, 3,000 because the woods we were cutting and people were moving further. That's where I grew up. What did I want? I wanted to be a pharmacist.
Oh, okay.
That's what I wanted to be. My parents had a general store, so I liked the interaction with clients, and I could see that as a pharmacist, you could really help people and be working with citizens that needed help. I really did not like to open the first frog in my biology class. So that changed my trajectory. I was good at math. My dad was an accountant, so I picked accounting.
Okay, excellent. And so what kind of personality traits were you showing up early on when you were a kid?
I guess someone who was determined,
Okay.
focused on results. When things had to be done, what are we trying to accomplish? What needs to happen to drive results? So I was really focused, responsible person. I was focused on what's required for delivering on what we committed to.
Excellent. And did you already, when you were studying, when you were a student, did you have a clear goal in mind of the next steps you wanted to take, or was it only opportunity by opportunity?
Interestingly, for us, we were 5 children. Our parents made it very clear all along that education was important. And they made a lot of sacrifices to send the 5 of us to school in town, pay the apartment, pay all the expenses associated with that. So to me, it was when I chose what I wanted to do, it was just get it done. Like go through the bachelor's degree, go through the CPA exams and just pass the exams. And then you just follow everybody else. The recruiting process works like this. So the university was quite prepared to help us identify potential employers. And I just followed the regular path. But when I interviewed in Ottawa. I studied in Ottawa. I didn't want my dad to have to pay for 2 years of college. So I went straight in Ontario. You could start in first year of university, and I didn't have my dad pay for 2 years of college. So I was in Ottawa, and I interviewed with a number of firms that were Francophone. And there was Clarkson Gordon, that is now Ernst & Young, that was the English firm. I almost didn't go to the interviews because I didn't want to be with the English firm.
Okay.
And when I decided to go, it was because one of my teachers told me, from his perspective, they were the best fit for me. And I went, and I really liked the people.
Okay.
But when I interviewed, my husband was in my life, and he was in a small town. So I told him I'm going to be here for 3 to 4 years, learn what I have to learn. And I had another job in a small accounting firm waiting for me in the small town.
Okay.
So that's what I told them. That was my intent. But then I was provided with opportunities new opportunities for 39 years now. So I'm still here.
Sounds like fate. Yes. Beautiful. And so you mentioned the importance of your parents. You mentioned this teacher. Did you have any inspiration figures when you were young that led you to become what you've accomplished later on?
I think I grew up in the 70s. There were very few women in business. There were very few women working. Like when you had children, the expectation was that you would stay home and take care of your children. And one of my mom's friends was a nurse. And it was obvious that she loved working. She loved her children, but changing diapers and having babies burp was not what she wanted to do in life. So she made sure her children had good care. She made sure she had quality time with her children, but she also had a great career. So she was a real role model for me. Seeing a woman in the 70s that was working, was happy working, had great children, and her husband that was helping at home was probably a real great role model for me. So it was clear for me that I wanted to have a career and be working. And I also wanted to be a mother. But having examples like that, you had very few in my generation. Thank God we have a lot more men and women succeeding in all aspects of their lives today.
Yeah, beautiful answer. And so at the time when you were younger, did you envision yourself getting to the point of becoming managing partner at EY?
Absolutely not.
Not at all.
No. You loved what you were doing. You were helping your client, but you didn't. That was not something I was aiming for. Just opportunities that delivered results where I was offered other opportunities, and it just happened naturally.
Okay, beautiful. So focusing now on your career, you mentioned it quickly with your entrance within the EY company. What was your first job, and what exactly were you doing at the time?
I was an auditor. I was a junior in the audit practice, so I was really providing the market trust in what my clients were telling them. These are the financial statements. You can trust what we're telling you. So that was in the 80s. And then moved in Europe, did the same, and then came back, continued to do the same, and then I started to do internal audit. So it was really, what are the risks of not achieving your business objectives? That was new to the firm. So a number of opportunities to help make a difference for your clients with great people around you. So the ability to learn and explore new opportunities is really what made me who I am.
Okay, beautiful. Again, you mentioned you went to Europe. Where exactly?
In Lyon.
In
Lyon, France, yeah.
Right. Okay, side note, this is where we're from, so this resonates for us.
So I lived 28 Rue de la République, straight in the middle of the...
Okay, we were not expecting that. This is beautiful. So you went to Lyon. How important do you think it is to explore ourselves, to explore international opportunities to develop your career?
It's not a requirement, but it brings a lot of value. For me, you can't pretend you understand the culture, so you learn the culture of the ways of doing things. So you listen more. So it strengthens your ability to listen and observe and learn from people around you. Getting an education system that's slightly different, you learn different things. So when you observe the way they do certain things, the goal is the same. You're an auditor. But there are other ways of achieving the same goal. So it broadens your spectrum of tools to be able to achieve what you're trying to achieve. So between the people, the ways of doing things, the observation, you develop new skills that stay with you for the rest of your life. So different experiences, whether it's a foreign country, different people, different skill sets of people you work with, allow you to grow.
Very, very accurate indeed. Did you know anyone who did this before you at the time, who inspired you to make the leap?
Absolutely not. It was just, they offered the opportunity. I spoke to my husband, and we've never been in Europe, so they were paying for a trip. Well, we would be stupid not to take the free trip. So we just took the plane and left the people and chose to go there. It was a big change in our life because I told you earlier, my goal was to learn 3 to 5 years and then go back home. That's where my husband was. So Lyon was the opportunity to give him new challenges and bring him with me in France, and then it changed his whole career also.
Very inspiring again. If we look now at all of your career, what were the turning points, the key moments that made what your career is today? Let's say top 3. Or
Moving to Montreal, I was in Ottawa. I was doing well in Ottawa, but it's a smaller market. So one year they asked me if I wanted to move to Montreal, and I said no, because my husband was working at the Supreme Court of Canada. You don't transfer from the Supreme Court of Canada. I didn't want to be a winner and he's a loser. Second year they asked me, I said no. And third year they said, would you consider it seriously? And with Jerry, we thought about our children. We had 3 kids. And we thought, if we're in Ottawa, it's more likely that they're going to go. We're going to lose them earlier. So we thought that for the kids, if we were in Montreal, they would probably stay with us longer. We had to leave home at 17 to go to school out of town. So that was a good reason for the kids to keep them longer. And then for him, he was working for Beverly McLaughlin, and she became Chief Justice. So before having her in that role of Chief Justice, he was a lot closer to her, and he was doing a lot more with her. But then she had security guards and drivers and all of that, so his job was a little less satisfying. So he was looking for new challenges also. So coming in Montreal was also an opening for him to get new challenges, and we decided that we would move in Montreal.
So the timing was right for all of you at that time, okay.
So that was one. Then in Montreal, they asked me after a year as an audit partner if I wanted to lead IT risk. Okay. And I looked around, and I was the only one in the room, so they're talking to me. I was the largest consumer of IT risk audit. Okay. And I had clients that had challenges, and in the end, I'm the one signing the statement, so I'm the one in charge. So I was going deep into the issues, and I had quite a good understanding of IT risks my clients were dealing with. So I said yes. I didn't have the technical skills. I had to learn, but it was really a rich experience and really jumping in a new era, deciding to learn new material, new skills, get new experiences, and the ability to do it in a safe environment, because you're surrounded in this place by talented people that have all the skills. So if you're not sure, you can ask someone else. So you learn very fast when you're surrounded by the best that are willing to help you learn and grow.
Okay, and so you said you didn't have the technical skills right away. Did you find it difficult to like show legitimacy in your role, or was it natural because you had your colleagues to help you there?
It was pretty easy, because as long as you're able to listen and ask questions to really understand the client issues, then you come back and with the team, you bring the right talent to be able to address the issues. So the culture, the structure, the access to talent internally makes it quite easy to learn and grow and understand. If you're curious and you ask the right questions and you really bring the right people to focus on the real issues.
Okay, perfect. And so how would you define can you tell us a little bit about your day-to-day job, both maybe at the time and what it looks like now, because it must be quite different.
So it's 39 years, eh? So there were no computers when I started.
True. Good point.
There was no cell phone. So all in all, the people have not changed that much. We work with people that are committed to make a difference, that truly want to help their clients, that truly want to help each other. The way we do it has changed drastically with automation, with AI, with the ability to connect with the world. We used to have faxes or have letters or have all kinds of stuff that we waited for because it was in transit in the mail. So all of a sudden, everything is more instantaneous. It's easier to get access to whoever you want, to get the answers, to get people in remote locations to work during the night, and you pick it up in the morning. So the way we deliver the work has transformed, but the values remain the same. The people we attract, like young people that that are curious, that want to learn, that want to make a difference, are similar. People who really want to deliver, are professional, want support when they need support, but also want autonomy.
Okay.
That's quite similar. What's changed is there's more women in leadership. I was in Ottawa, I was the first one who had a baby and returned to work.
Maybe you were the inspiring figure in the area.
So now we see men and women that are parents and assume their responsibilities as parents. COVID changed a lot of things in the way we work, and I can tell you the young fathers that our clients in here, many of them feel it was a privilege to be there with their children and to have legitimacy to really be there and bring them to school and be there when they come back from school and play a bigger role in their lives. So that's changed drastically for the better. I think what's happened in society also, more immigration.
Okay.
So there's a lot more diversity in our leadership team.
Okay.
And there's real recognition that people with all kind of different cultural backgrounds are great leaders, and we can learn a lot from each other. So that's, we were always open, but there's just by sheer factor of people you see in university, it's broader, the diversity. So that's quite positive for our learning experience.
Excellent. And how about the difference between your role as an auditor versus your leadership role now? How did it change in your day-to-day basis?
Well, you know, when you're young, you're technically, you go in the details on the technical front.
Okay.
Then you learn how to manage people.
Okay.
Then you learn how to interact with clients and do business development. And eventually your role becomes to set the direction and inspire others to do the same. Mm-hmm. So you go less into the details because you have technical people, you have the people to go into the details. So the types of skills evolve as your responsibilities evolve.
Okay, and so what would be the most important skills you would say now for someone who would improve their career in a firm like EY?
I think it's an attribute more than a skill, it's curiosity, the desire to learn, and grow. The acknowledgement that what I do today and what I'm going to do in 5 years will be different. So the desire, the curiosity to understand the changes and the desire to jump and learn and trust themselves that they can surround themselves with the right people, and we'll put the right safeguards to make sure we deliver quality. And we'll learn with our clients, we'll learn with each other. When no one's done certain things, there are certain principles, certain values, certain guardrails that can guide our people in doing the right thing. And in establishing leading practices or new ways of doing things that will drive more value for society.
Beautiful. And I have another bonus question on this. You mentioned that you did not have a big dream of becoming what you have become when you were younger, and that at EY you were like proud of how people were careful about the client's success. How about ambition? How do you see ambition within the people in your organization? Is it strongly visible? Is it a driver? Or does it ever create competition within the organization?
I think culture here is you want to learn, you want to make a difference, you want to help your clients, you want to help your colleagues.
Okay.
And that mindset, that culture drives opportunities. You're always in a learning mode. So I tell our young people, spend 10% of your time doing stuff that you love and spend 90% of your time doing stuff that you have to do. And eventually the 10% will become 20, 30, 40%. And you'll give a chance to others to learn, and you'll be able to spend most of your time in what you wanted to learn and start learning something new. So we're in a business of creating career opportunities. This is what we do. The biggest reward for a partner at EY is to see the people you worked with, give them relationships that you have and projects that you have so they can be the next partner, they can be the next leader, they can themselves show someone else and help someone else grow. And you move on and learn something else and build something new. So it's the curiosity I mentioned and the teamwork and collaboration and desire to help people succeed that drives the success of a firm like ours.
Beautiful response. I also want to ask, what's the let's say, the personal attribute that you look for in new employees? Is curiosity the top one quality that you will be looking for?
Well, you look at the technical skills that are relevant. We used to look at degrees. Having a degree shows me that you can learn. What skills do you have? And we assume that the skills you have today are not the ones you need next year.
Yeah.
So you look for a mindset. You look for people who have a desire to learn, make a difference, are not afraid of change, are professional, have high ethics. So we use all kinds of techniques to assess the attributes of individuals to make sure they share our values. Values are critically important.
Excellent, again. I would like to ask you, since we noticed, so you've done pretty much all of your career in the same firm, yet you've also become a board member of different organizations. Was it a way for you to explore different horizons and new kind of fields because you spent so much time in the same company? What does it mean for you?
I think when you're asked to join a board, I essentially do not for-profit boards because we're not allowed to do for-profit boards. We would have independence issues. So when you're asked to join a board, you say yes, you say no because you want to make a difference.
So you were invited every time?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So this organization, I like the people, I like the mission, I like the purpose of that mission. I think I can learn, I think I can contribute. I think the level of effort is reasonable. Will give me time to contribute and will not chew up most of my time because I have my family, I have other things in my life. So you go with the cause where you want to make a difference. That's what I've done historically. I chose boards of organizations that inspire me.
Okay, beautiful. And so you've spent your entire career in EY. Have you ever thought about exploring different career?
Well, whether you want it or not, when you're in an accounting firm, you have opportunities that are presented to you all the time. And I looked at those opportunities, and I encourage our people to do the same. Okay. You can learn if you do different things. And sometimes people go and come back. And in fact, a person out of 5.5 experienced hires that we have are people who have left and returned to the firm.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So they learned something new. They had different experiences. They thought might be better. So you explore, okay, well, what this firm gives me and what this opportunity gives me. And sometimes you go and then you realize that it's not better. It's not the grass is not greener on the other side, and you come back. So we should always explore opportunities. I've always explored opportunities. I've explored many opportunities, but I've always concluded that I would have a greater impact and I would have more pleasure staying here in the last 39 years.
Okay, very well. It's unusually very open-minded to see your employee's career like this. Very nice. So you mentioned a little bit that since you have different projects, you have one big challenge, which is time management. Do you have any techniques, any little tricks that you learned how to do to better manage your time?
Well, the number one is surround yourself with people that are great, better than you in many cases. Help them when they need help, and when you need them, they'll be there for you, generally speaking. And that's true at home, whether it's your babysitters as kids grow up, or whether it's at work, whether it's your executive assistant, whether it's the junior people. People are there for each other, so lean on each other, support them and lean on them, and they'll be there for you. So the quality of people around you, your parents, everybody that surrounds you, you're there for them, they're there for you, and that's survival.
Excellent. Do you have any example of a moment when a colleague really helped you in a time when you needed it?
We see it in our business when people have sick children or sick family members. I have a personal experience where my husband needed a brain surgery. So I'm landing 8:15, texto from my daughters, and it's Wednesday night, 8:15. Dad is having his surgery on Friday, 7:30. So I was supposed to be in UK for the global board of EY the following week after the surgery. I was supposed to be in Vancouver, had a leadership team meeting in Toronto. I had the client proposals on the way. I had project delivery on the way. By 9:30 the following morning, all of my clients were aware that I was taking care of my husband. All the clients who were expecting proposal, and they knew who was going to take care of their file. All the proposals that were on the way, they knew that someone else would be in charge while I was taking care of my husband. We won the 3 of them. We delivered all the projects. My teams, the Canadian leadership team, my colleagues just stepped in. I joined on a call the day of the surgery. The rest of the meetings I didn't have to go. My boss replaced me to go in Vancouver. And when it was time, when my husband was getting out of the hospital, my 16-year-old drove his dad back home. I was in London for the initial meeting of the global board of EY. So it's everybody stepping in.
Wow.
When you need them, they're there. When there's something important.
Wow, that's very inspiring. Thank you very much for sharing this. So you've just been appointed to a new role dedicated to sustainable finance. Can you tell us a bit more about your new role and new responsibilities?
So I'm turning 60 this year. Mm-hmm. So when you turn 60 or when you I want a next chapter after this one. So I have a successor in my previous role, the managing partner of this office. So I can spend until the end of June when I will retire from the firm, all of my time, not all of my time, but the bulk of my time on contributing to the advancement of the infrastructure and financial markets to enable sustainable finance and sustainable growth. So that's pretty cool. So that's really a gift to be able to help with the disclosure, with the data, with the taxonomy of financial products required to give you and your children a better future, to give my children a better future, to really contribute to having public sector, public finance and private finance focused on impact measures that matter beyond financials. Making money is not an option if you're a pension fund or insurance company. You want the pension funds to pay your pension when you retire. You want the insurance company to pay your claims if an incident occurs. The way you do it matters. And we can't continue to do it by consuming more resources than the earth produces every year. And we can't continue to do it with greenhouse gas emissions the way we did it historically. So drastic changes are required for a collective future. I have 3 adult children, so a great sense of responsibility to accelerate the changes in financial market as best as I can in this role in my future chapter.
Really beautiful again. Can you give us a few examples of what it would look like? Your work will be to help transform the finance market so that they invest better in projects.
Honestly, there is global initiatives led by global investment community to embed and led by the G20 finance ministers and the central banks to embed climate in every financial decision. So what does that mean in practice? All of this is new. So I mentioned learning.
Yeah.
We learn all the time. So I had the privilege for the last few years to spend a lot of time on sustainable finance, on long-term value creation, working with global investors, working with global regulators on that topic. So I have a pretty good understanding of what's going on in other countries. And we're lagging behind in North America. We need to accelerate the pace if we want to be able to if we want our clients to be able to sell their products in Europe and other markets that are more advanced. So I feel a great sense of urgency. So contributing to sharing leading practices, communicating why this is critically important, explaining that this is all about risk-adjusted return. We're not talking about not making a return. We're talking about risk-adjusted return, and governments have a key role to play. Sometimes it might be that you need to, I don't know, on climate, you probably need to change HVAC systems. You need to put sensors. You need to put better insulation. There are costs associated with that. So how do you finance this? Well, There should be tax incentives to reduce the cost so the ROI is better and investors or lenders can come in and help you do that. So how do we collaborate, coordinate efforts to accelerate our pace of change? We don't have, you saw this summer what it looked like. It's not done. 30-some degrees today.
Yeah, we're
October
in October
5th in Canada. We have real challenges. Scientific community told us for years. Countries signed the Paris Agreement in 2015. They acknowledged that the scientific community were right. So they're telling us what to do. They're telling us this is the issue. So science is leading the pathway. They're shedding the light on the pathway to align the economies to 1.5 degree, but then finance has to follow. So private finance, public finance, we need coordinated efforts to drive impact.
Very excellent. Thank you very much for all of this. Now I would like to ask a few questions on the personal reflections on your job, starting with a lighter one. What is it that you like most about your job?
The people. The people. The people around me at work, the people around me, my clients, the people that I work with in the community. Their desire to make a difference, their desire to do the right thing, and our collective mindset to find the right solutions to help do the right thing for a collective future and results.
Very good response again. And what are you most proud of in your career as of today?
I mentioned it earlier, it's the success of people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's seeing people around me that succeed in all aspects of their lives.
Okay.
And the ability of our people to work together so you can spend time with your mom if she needs you. You can take care of your children if they need you, and you know that work will be delivered. It's quite different than what it used to be. So I think I probably made a difference within the firm and in the business community by surrounding myself with people, by creating culture by contributing to a culture where succeeding in all aspects of your life. Succeeding at work is important. We work a lot, but it's not success in life. So when I see people succeed in life, we're demanding. Well, people at work here work hard, and we have high expectations. But we're very clear that success at work is not success in life. It's important for success in life, but it's not success in life. So helping our people balance and dedicate time to all the aspects of their lives that matter. That's probably one of the things that I'm most proud of.
Very inspiring. This is the kind of thing we'd like to hear as younger workers. So thank you for this. Now, on the darker side of the coin, what was the biggest crisis you ever had to face, and how did you manage to come through it?
You know, I lived all kinds of challenges. Mm-hmm. We didn't live real crisis in this country. We're not in Ukraine. We're not in places like, you have challenges, okay, difficult situation, you have people issues, you have a piece of business that's not doing that well, and you have to let people go. That's the hardest thing to do as a leader. But if you don't do it, everybody else suffers and the business suffers and you don't have money to invest. So the way you do it matters. So when you have to make difficult decisions that have an impact on people, really thinking of the impact on those individuals and what you can do to help them land on their feet. There's so many things we can do as business leaders to help them develop new skills and to help them see in advance and see that, okay, well, this business, you can develop new skills, you can do certain things and support them through the process. That's probably collective mindset and doing the right thing to help our people go through situations. They were really good when we brought them in. Market conditions have changed. They might not have evolved their skills to what's required to move to the next level. So helping people through those situations is probably one of the most critical things to be satisfied and be able to look at yourself in the mirror at night.
Very well. And so you just mentioned skills. This is a good transition for me. What are the most important skills, in your opinion, that you acquired in your career?
39 years, you develop many skills. I learned
We
English.
imagine,
I
yeah.
learned English. That's probably a
Uh-huh.
critical one. I went beyond bicycle is blue that I learned it in school, you know. So communication skills is probably critically important. Um, the individual skills, one of the skills is to surround yourself with people that have skills you don't have, but are required for to deliver the outcome. So that's probably one of the skills I've learned. Surround yourself with great people and say it when you don't have it, and find a way to find the skills required or admit that you don't have them. So humility is probably something important. So is this something that I learned or is it something that my parent taught me?
Maybe both.
Maybe both, yeah. You just validate, work just validated what my parents gave me.
Excellent. Perfect. So, last question of this segment, I would like to ask you, how do you measure or even define success in the context of a consulting firm like yours?
Well, it's interesting. We have well, you need to deliver value. How do you define value? But you need, each organization has to define its own core metrics. What's my purpose? What do I contribute to? And then it becomes your filter to deliver and drive value that will drive financial return. You need to understand what it takes to drive financial return. With no financial return, it's hard to keep the people or continue to drive value. You want to create financial return to be able to drive more value. But the financial is the output.
Yeah.
So it's a broad definition. So we have our carbon budget.
Mm-hmm.
We have our financial budget. We have some people metrics that we measure against, and those are all attributes that are critically important. We have our community impact. So we measure all of these, and they're aligned to our global strategy and our local strategy.
Okay, very well. And so now that we've talked a little bit about the fact that success depends on a lot of factors, we know that EY is known as part of the Big Four in consulting for worldwide. How is this competition with the other present in your job? Is it something that you think about or not as much?
I'm more focused on value creation for my clients. Yeah, of course, when you're trying to, okay, I want to work with this one and I'd really like to get that project, you have to take into account what your competitors will do. But first and foremost, you hire some of the best people. You want them to get great experiences, making a difference for your clients. So I didn't mention it, but one of the things that's really changed since I started is aging population. Mm-hmm. And we see it. Every single client has challenges finding people. We live in a world where the demand is not the issue. We don't have limited demand, we have limited supply. So providing opportunities for your people to make a difference with clients they love, on projects they love, challenging your clients on how they use us to provide our people that opportunity is something that is quite interesting in this era. That's a big change from different conditions. So we're more focused on creating the right working conditions for our people. If they're happy, they feel they're bringing value, they want to drive more value for our clients, and our clients want more value for our people, and growth happens naturally.
Excellent. And so my next question, you kind of gave elements of response already, but I will ask it anyway. What are, in your opinion, the biggest changes that you've noticed in the economy since when you started at EY versus what it is today?
Yeah.
You've already given some elements.
Limited supply versus limited demand. So that's a big change. More inclusion in the workplace. COVID made big changes in how we deliver the flex work. We instituted a policy in 2003, working from anywhere. Not everybody was taking it when COVID started. Now it's kind of the norm for everyone. So it creates more opportunities for also In terms of the economy, we all see the geopolitical challenges, we all see the inflation, we all see the interest rates. It doesn't change what we're trying to do.
Very good. And so, again, you've mentioned it a little bit before, but is the economic growth still in the top objectives of a firm like yours? Or, as you mentioned, there are some new ones?
It's an outcome. It's an
Yeah.
outcome. The value you drives growth.
Mm-hmm.
And the definition of value has broadened. We need to take care of climate. We need to take care of biodiversity. We need to take care of inequalities. So that's embedded in the mix of what we do and what we deliver. And if we do it right, typically it drives better financial outcome for all.
So does this mean that when you present results to your clients, you're not only looking at the financial, you're exploring different metrics based on carbon print, for example?
Well, the clients have different needs at different time. If they're trying to do a transaction, they're trying to do a transaction. If they're trying to change a system, they're trying to change a system. If they need to produce their financial system. So we need to deliver the product the client needs. But the clients we work with, the conversation we're having with them, the challenges we put in front of them are all in the context of changes that are happening in society and really the critical challenges of our time, of our generation. If you don't address climate, then the old financial system is going to take into account climate and financial decision. It's going to be harder to get financing or more costly to get financing. It's my job to tell my clients it happens to be typically those geopolitical issues or those mega issues. Sometimes we're a little ahead of market, so you help a few leaders develop and align, and they become the models for the others. So that's what we're trying to do. Work with the best, the ones who are the leaders, and they become models for the others, and we have calls, and we can do more for more clients.
Very good. This is all pretty coherent so far. Now, on a more personal note, I would like to ask you, what have been your main career goals? And how have they evolved over time, even though we know that in the beginning it was a very step-by-step process from what we've heard?
I think two things. Drive results. If you drive results, typically opportunities are presented to you. So what's the role? What are the expected outcome? And do what's required to drive results with the team. Then it's learn, explore. So as you follow your passions, that's the advice I give. If I told you the advice I give to the younger people, spend 10% of your time on stuff you really like. If you continue to deliver the same, you don't learn, you don't challenge. So focus on the few areas where you have an interest and learn. And then you do more of that, and more opportunities come, and whatever you built before, you give to someone else, and you move to something new, and you pick another 10% of something new, and you continue to learn. So 39 years of being able to really follow new opportunities, focus on new passions, is a real gift I had to be here, to be able to do that. So it's not something I was looking for, it's just something that was given to me.
Excellent. As we're leading towards the end of the interview, my last question of this segment is, you've mentioned an advice you gave to youngers. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received yourself? And would you give the same one to your 20-year-old young self?
Yeah. I think if you have something good to say about someone, tell everyone. If you have something negative to say about someone, tell the person privately.
Wow. We never heard that one. Very good one.
And I like people around me to do that. You learn from that. And I want to do that for others also. So I think that creates a culture that's a growing culture for everyone.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So now we'll go through the last few questions of the interview for the opening. Number one, what do you have left to accomplish?
You see the world around us? Don't you think we have a lot to do together? For climate, for biodiversity, for inequalities. So I still have a lot to accomplish, and I still have a lot of energy. I still have a lot of friends to do it with.
Beautiful. On a more light note, if you could have a private meeting with someone, dead or alive, who would it be?
My husband?
Sorry?
My husband. So I work a lot. I was gone for the last 2 weeks. Tomorrow I'm going to see him. So I think he's always going to be first on the list.
Beautiful. Again, unusual, but a beautiful response. Now I'll ask for your personal favorites. Number one, what's the book that inspired you the most?
You know what? It's multiple readings.
Okay.
And I get a lot from reading. It's articles, it's books. And you get pieces of wisdom from so many people. So I like the puzzle approach. Take the best of everyone. So it's not one, it's multiple readings that inspire me. And I take notes. I say that in, it's not a book. There's a brochure that was written by Purdy Crawford, Gillian Saucy, a number of senior business leaders in the 90s, I guess. And it sounds very boring. It was the Coco model of control. Okay. How exciting is control? But it was really, it changed my mind around control. You're an accountant, you internal control and make sure there's integrity of processes and all of that. So control is compliance. Their definition of control is really understanding what is required. The attributes of control is what's required to enable you to achieve your objectives. So they said, okay, first you need to have clarity of objectives, and there are a few attributes of clear objectives. Second, you have to be enabled. You have to have the resources to get there. Third, you have to have the desire to get there. And fourth, you have to monitor. If you're not on track, you might be missing resources. You might be missing incentives. You might be missing something that could prevent you from achieving the desired outcome. Or things have changed and what you wanted to accomplish will not be realized. You need to change your goals. So it's a simple model with 20 attributes of control that could be applied to multiple situations. I think I read it once. I applied it to departments, to business units, to clients. And I do that intuitively more than mechanically now. But it totally, how do we provide our people what's required for success? If I'm focused on results and outcome, what are the things that could be missing? So my mindset when I run a business is always, did I create the right conditions for success? If they're not on track, what's missing? Did I not give them what they needed to be successful? And quite often that's the case.
Okay.
So you change the resources, you change the incentives, and everyone get back on track. And you give them the information, and they want to deliver. Our people, generally speaking, people want to deliver on their promises. So, so that was, in addition to my puzzle approach to reading. It sounds very boring, control, but
that was very interesting.
It's a different mindset. It's what's required for success.
Very interesting indeed. Yeah, no, that was inspiring. We might go check this afterwards.
I don't think it exists electronically.
Oh, really? Oh.
It was before that time.
We'll see. What's your favorite movie, TV show? Even though no wanting to assuming, but it sounds like you don't have much time to watch shows. I don't want to overstep and assume things.
I think you got it right. I listen to the news.
Okay.
Multiple channels, multiple languages. Listen to the news.
That's fair enough. Perfect. One that I would like to ask, what's the favorite trip you've ever had?
Family vacation.
Okay.
Hard to choose which one was the best because each one of them had special moments. Mm-hmm. We've been in Tahiti with the 3 adult children. That was quite a special moment. We were at the Brando, and the father, the friend of my daughter, runs the place, and my desk at the Brando was the desk where Barack Obama wrote his book.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's quite special.
Wow, okay.
The beaches, the people, the food Tahiti is quite special.
Uh-huh.
We went when the kids were younger. One of my partners was from Venezuela.
Okay.
So Venezuela is not the safest place in the world. But I was asking Fernando, we want to go south for school break. So we suggested Argentina. It takes too long, I have no time. Says, if you want to come to Venezuela, I'll make sure it's safe for you. So it was a very special experience, the five of us. With the local community, we're five blonde persons, so we can't hide in a country like that.
Uh-huh.
But it was waiting for us with armed cars. We had the armed guardians all the time. We felt safe. People were nice. We discovered different lives, and it was a very special experience with the family. It was probably one of the best trips we had because we were there with friends. When you're there with the locals, it's always very special. So those are two I can talk about. One where we saw vacation with the
That's very
family is probably the best.
Perfect. Last of these favorites. What's your favorite quote?
Be yourself.
Sounds more like an advice than a quote, but that works. Nice, very nice. Thank you very much. This leads us to my last question. What can we wish you for the future?
I think what you want is health. Without health, it's pretty hard. So health for me and for my loved ones.
Excellent.
And we'll take care of the rest if we have health.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful ending to this interview. Anne-Marie, thank you so very much for being with us today. This was Anne-Marie Hubert on Business Minds.
Merci. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
On Business Minds. Oh, je fallait que je le dise en anglais.
Oui. C'est correct.